Welcome to the Ride of My Life podcast. I'm Caroline Rena, and I will be sharing with you what it's going to be like to go out on the road for a few months while working through emotions and challenges that go along with it. As I develop my knowledge and awareness, I hope to connect with you while I'm on this journey. Hey everyone, it's Caroline, and this is now episode 2 of the Ride of My Life podcast, the video and audio versions of it. I am so grateful to everyone. I'm receiving such incredibly positive and encouraging messages from people, and I'm really grateful that you guys are sending that. And people are reading and watching and listening, and that's really exciting for me. So anyway, today's episode is basically revolving around a blog that I posted yesterday in reference to the moral reflex, startle reflex. This is a retained primitive reflex that we have, and I'm going to kind of focus on this more today because it's so important in how it's part of my process and how I'm walking through it and learning about it and experiencing it. So I can't even begin to tell you the shifts I'm feeling and experiencing starting with this new healing process. It's really opened up some things for me, and I'm feeling more grounded and less fearful than I ever have in my life. That's big. So in learning about this retained primitive reflex, which is also related to the stress response, got me in a space of wanting to further my healing process through my body. And the bulk of my work with myself and others is body-mind. And the proof is in the pudding. So one just has to research and experiment to find this out. And that's exactly what I'm doing, because that's what I do. So what I'm finding is that the physical, emotional, and mental symptoms that we carry can be related to this from stress of the mother and or the baby during pregnancy, which I talked about a little bit in reference to myself yesterday in the blog. Lack of movement in your utero in some cases, I guess, because I don't know if that's, a lot of these could be different for everybody. So just keep that in mind when I go over this. Restrictive body movements, such as an infant spending an extended amount of time in car seats, carriers, walkers, or jumpers. Illness, injury, trauma, chronic stress, and other developmental delays. So the moral reflex is the earliest primitive reflex. It affects the vestibular, ocular, motor, and visual perceptual skills. And symptoms from this include exaggerated startle reflex, motion sickness, eye movement and visual processing problems, poor coordination, poor balance, light sensitivity, frequent infections, inner ear problems, allergies, poor stamina, difficulty with black print on white paper, tense muscle tone, poor auditory discrimination, biochemical and nutritional imbalances, often in fight or flight mode, hyperactivity, and low self-esteem. Now, I got this information from a website, www.sensoryfocus.com. Because I wanted to make sure I had a pretty good list. And again, not everybody has everything. So you can't just say, oh, one way or the other. It's all different for everybody, depending even on your trauma. I would assume how it's going to show up. As for the trauma, it's any type of trauma. And it also includes birth trauma, which can involve, and this is really important because I think about friends, family, in relation to this, and myself. And I don't know personally what I experienced in my birth. However, I do know enough to know that it was traumatic. So, So one of the things it can involve would be the use of mechanical items such as forceps back in the day. I don't know particularly, I haven't done the research yet to see if they still are using forceps, but back in the day in my, when I was growing, or when kids were being born back then, they used forceps, which is very traumatic to the baby because it's grasping on both sides of the head and pulling the baby out. The other thing, and that's done to pull the child, out through the birth canal. Then there's cesarean sections and chemically induced births, which include the following drug. This is the labor induction. There's now, please excuse me if I pronounce some of this stuff wrong, but misoprostol or Cytotec is a pill which is taken by the mouth or placed in the vagina using a smaller dose. Oxytocin or Pitocin, which can be given through a vein intravenously in small amounts to ripen the cervix. This is actually a synthetic form, which means it's not natural, which means there are side effects. Because oxytocin is a natural thing that the body produces, but if it doesn't produce it, then they add an extra dosage of it in synthetic form. And then there is dinoprostone, such as Cervidil or Prepidil gel. I am reading this, which can also be inserted as a suppository into the vagina, intravaginally. Yeah. This is all from the University of, or ufmhealth.org, www.ufmhealth.org, if you want to find out any, more information about this. This is all harmful to the baby and the future adult. So it's affecting probably most people in the world if they experienced a birth trauma or other traumas. Well, which adds on to it, but that's the other conversation I have about complex PTSD. So anyway, what's it taking to shift and heal this in my world? So I mentioned yesterday in my blog, an exercise called the starfish, which is used to help in resetting the brain from traumas experienced in birth and beyond. And here I'm going to share my experiences and what information I'm learning in the process. So the above information was just a little bit of what I'm learning. Let's see. I'm trying to think. I started doing the exercises on the 13th of November in the evening. So it's twice a day. And although after having the conversation with my friend and was being told that they were doing it 30 times, I'm still stuck at 6, and I'll explain why. Mostly these exercises are done with children to help with different things like ADHD and learning issues and different things like that. However, adults can definitely use it. What I'm finding out is this moral reflex or the startle reflex can get stuck, and adults experience many similar things. You hear people talking about this all the time, but nobody really knows, exactly what this is. It's just pretty much just coming over into this country, where it's over in Australia and the UK, a little bit more present over there. But these symptoms that people are experiencing, adults, can come in different combinations, like I explained before. And interestingly, I've been talking about the stress response being stuck in the on position for a really long time, and I didn't know that this could be a part of it. So that's why I'm totally fully intrigued in this. And that's why I decided to make this a part of this healing journey that I'm on now. And what I'm going to explain here is my experience, which physically in doing the exercise. Okay, so I've been getting dizzy and nauseous and can only do it 6 times, like I said, barely. And here's the thing, for a long, long time, I've been experiencing something where I can't tilt my head back. I get dizzy anyway. So part of the process in doing the starfish is laying on the floor. One of the ways is laying on the floor on a pillow under your back with your head back. And my body already knows, no, that's not good. You don't like that. So when I go back, I get nauseous, and it was explained to me that that's affected also by the vagus nerve. So that's more information eventually I will bring in, which is a whole nother realm of interesting stuff to do with the vagus nerve. And what happens is, like I said, he had suggested that he does 30 repetitions. And I'm laughing at that right now because I'm only 5 days in, but hopefully I'll get up to 7 and soon. And I do have to keep my eyes closed. And I actually I've tried different things to make it go away or feel better while I'm doing it. Keeping my eyes closed is obviously the easiest thing, but I also do tapping, the EFT tapping, where I'm going like this, and it actually settles. There's a settling of my stomach, when I'm doing the tapping. So it's helpful. It's pretty cool. And I just do that to calm myself down because my body's not used to this position. It's just basically head back, arms out, legs out like a starfish. And the other thing is I have to get up really slow, very, very slowly from the floor because of the dizzy and the nausea. And then I drink a lot of water when I'm done. That actually settles it, the nausea. And ginger helps too. Ginger tea, ginger, whatever. Ginger is very helpful for that. The first time I did it last Saturday, I was like, I so wanted to throw up, and I cried for a while because, like I said, this affects the body and the mind. We hold emotions in our body. So my body is doing something it has not done in 57 years. So it's releasing things, and it's totally understandable. And when I cried, I had already had something coming up anyway, but it really helped that to release. And that's what I keep saying. It fully works on the entire system, body and mind. So that's why it's so important. So what's happening now? It's getting easier. I've now been doing it for about 5.5 days. The nausea still comes up, but it's tolerable. And what's interesting is that my body feels more at peace and calmer, and my dreams are becoming more vivid and powerful. I didn't even expect the dream thing to happen, but it's been, and over the last probably 3 nights. And interestingly, my energy levels are slowly rising, and I'm sleeping better, which I haven't done that in a long time either. So the biggest thing also is that my fears are beginning to dissipate, and I'm no longer afraid to stand up for myself more powerfully when I need to. So I call this a work in progress. Obviously, I'm going to have days, like a roller coaster. It's going to be good days where all these things are working out and things are good, and then there's going to be other days, like always, I'm assuming. I don't know. This is, like I said, it's an experiment. It's a journey. I don't know how this is going to turn out. I do know it's positive, though. It feels good right now to me. So that's pretty much it on that piece of it. There's no information today about the process with the car because nothing really came up in the past 24 hours or so, or since I last wrote the blog. And what I'm finding, though, interestingly enough, is doing the exercise and walking through this process is even helping me with my process in getting ready for this ride, the literal and the emotional ride of my life. And so all I could say really is this just keeps getting better and better on this ride of my life. And I'm hoping that people will be watching and seeing my experimentation on myself and working with other people and talking with other people and bringing, connecting with you guys. And in that connection, there are links, just so I'll just say this each time so you know, but when I make my post, I put links for my website, my Substack. I have the blog and the podcast on Substack as an audio version where you can subscribe. And then there's also YouTube channel. I'm on Instagram as Caroline Rena, Recreate Your Life. And there's opportunities if you choose to support me in this financially. That would be awesome because this is a lot of stuff to get together. I mean, between getting the car ready and getting my podcasting setup done, which I'm not going like totally really deep in. I'm like, for example, I think I said this before, I just need a lavalier microphone, you know, or whatever. It's just little things. So I'm going to do this as minimalistically and simply as possible and inexpensively as possible. But I definitely, you know, right now for setup and everything and getting on the road and hoping to meet people and bringing people on if they're wanting to, I guess, you know, I mean, this is all open for whatever, it doesn't matter. So anyway, I'm so grateful for you being here and watching me and following me, and let's see where this journey goes together. And I guess that's about it. So have a fantastic, I say this, day, night, evening, morning, wherever you are. Have a wonderful something. At least work towards that. If you can. If you can't, then just do a lot of breathing. And if you follow me and you are one of these people who I'm working with who are feeling, you know, these things, you can connect with me. So you can connect with me in wherever I'm on social media, website, whatever. The website is actually, well, you'll see it at the end of this video. I'm trying to think if there's anything else, but yeah, so I guess that's about it. So take care, and I will see you on the next episode. All right, have a great day. Bye-bye.